Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Oh, you know what that is? That is some Friday energy. Well, in case you didn't know, it is Black Friday, and any door crasher shoppers in the house? No, you know why? Because you're here. You're not shopping, you're here. So anyways, the question is, how many of you lined up or perhaps thought of lining up or once upon a time lined up at the crack of dawn for those hot deals? Because, yeah, once upon a time, sure. The New York Times is reporting that most people they spoke to say that it used to be fun, but it's no longer feeling special anymore. And those sales, it's not just that one day. They tend to continue long into the new year, or they start really, really early. So what are you doing Black Friday this year? And ladies, what would actually mobilize you to maybe actually get off your couch and go, I know this is wild, go into a store?
Oh my God. Well, I will start. I am going out for dinner tonight, so it will take me down a street with lots of shops.
Okay.
I will consider going into your shop.
If?
But if I see a 10% off Black Friday sale, I'm waving goodbye. That deal has to be, give me 50 or up.
50?
Make it a deal.
Yeah.
50? That's steep.
Yeah.
Unless it's a store, you know, sometimes there are stores that never have anything on sale. So if they say 20% off, I might consider. I might date you for a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, like those stores that every other week have 40% off and you're going 40% off for Black Friday, no. I need more.
Yeah.
Okay, you need
more.
50. What about you, Cyn?
Yeah, I 50 seems like a little bit steep, but I think maybe 40 is my cutoff. I don't know. I've done Black Friday shopping all week long because it seems to not just be a day.
Maybe that's why it's not so special anymore.
Yeah.
Because they had the lead up to it.
It also wasn't our thing. It's an American
it's
thing.
Actually,
American
it's funny.
thing.
Right? I have no memory of it growing up at all, and it turns out that it actually it has only become a thing since like the 2010s. But like, will I do it? I am doing it. The problem that I have, and I don't know if anyone else finds this, is that I start going like, oh, there's a deal, but it's all for stuff for me. That's a problem that I can't seem to fix.
Yeah, you know what? I don't get it. I'm like you, guy in the front row who was like, nothing's getting me out of my bed to do anything. I don't go, but I'm gonna blame my friend Mary Liberi's father, who owned a retail store for like 40 years. And he's like, let me tell you something. He has a heavy Greek accent. He's like, let me tell you, sometimes you can get a great deal. You can get that 40 and 50% off. But most times, a lot of these retailers use this opportunity to get the stuff that they can't move in the back, and they put it on discount. And it's like, yeah, that TV's really, cheap because it's like the 2021 version, and they have the 2025s coming out, and they need to get rid of that merch. So you're like, I got a TV for $200, and it's like, of course you did. Of course you did, because I needed to get it out there. So once he gave me that lesson, I'm like, I'm not falling for
Although, like a one-year-old TV, is it that bad? I mean, if you could get a deal?
Buyer beware, just pay attention.
Yeah.
I think January deals to be much more satisfying. That's when you get into the 70, 75%.
Wow.
Really gotta move the garbage.
Are you doing it? You know, gosh, first of all, every time you say to me that you're done your Christmas shopping, I just start crying inside.
I am.
Look at her.
Because I haven't done anything. And I'll be honest, I've never been a Black Friday shopper, even when it wasn't, I mean, I guess when it started as a thing. I'm guiltily not getting out to the malls because I love online shopping. I love sitting there in my pajamas. I feel like I'm helping the environment because I'm not driving. Is that a good enough excuse? Is that a good excuse?
Well,
no.
someone is delivering it in a car to you.
Yeah, okay, fine.
It cancels it out.
I guess for me, it's the convenience part of it. And so if I'm gonna get out, it's gotta be something that's gotta be significant. And I gotta know that I'm in a target-rich environment where I've gotta go like a grocery list. I've gotta have the list.
Right.
And I've gotta know that one place is gonna have everything that I need. Because if I have to get into my car to go somewhere else, forget it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I can't do the online thing. Is everyone here online with the online thing? I feel like I need to touch it and buy it. So I will be going into malls.
Oh,
I miss the mall boxing.
I'm with you, but you know what I do? I do the drive-by at the mall. So I'll go and look at the stuff when it's regular price and it comes out in August, September, and I go, don't worry, I'll circle back, see you in November, my friend.
You're doing
when you're on sale.
reconnaissance.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not paying regular price. I'm not an idiot, but you just wait, and then you put it in, you register online for all of those stores, and you put it in your basket, and then when the sale goes on, because they'll let you know at like midnight if it's a really good store, and then you're like, bing, bing, bing. And it's done.
Aren't you afraid of losing the item? Are you afraid of losing the item?
If you register, if you don't register, you just put it in your cart, it'll go away. But if you're a registered shopper, it will stay in that box, and then it'll even send you an email going, it's on sale now. I'm like, thank you very much.
Wow, okay, all right.
So let's move on. Now that we know that you need 50% off, let's move on. Would you sacrifice some privacy for convenience when you fly? Air Canada is the first Canadian airline to roll out facial recognition at the gate starting on Tuesday. Customers who board some domestic flights in Vancouver will be able to just walk to the plane without showing any ID. Oh, you guys are suspicious. I like your
Interesting.
style. So, would you guys sign up for this?
Yes, yes, yes. Sign me
Tell
up
us
for all
why.
the things.
Tell us why.
First of all, I'll do the context. I've been a Nexus family since I ever started traveling. And so for that reason, I really love that. Even, first of all, airport travel, period, is so stressful.
It's demeaning.
It's so stressful. I feel like a cow in a herd, and they're just pushing you along. It's so, it's not personal anymore. And then you add children to the mix. You might be traveling with elderly parents. You might have somebody who's, you know, in a wheelchair. If you can reduce any of those lineups or friction points by even one, sign me up. In this case, it sounds like you could potentially go through almost everything without much of a lineup. So sign me up. And P.S., the government has all my personal data already. I'm not worried
So
about
it's not the privacy.
Oh,
This
I wish I
sounds
could
to
feel
me
the
like
same.
the equivalent of giving a 10% off Black Friday sale. It sounds like bull. It really does, because I feel like you will still be stopped for security. You don't miss that line. So it's more at the gate. So you get to the gate, and you either have to have buy-in, like vaccines, where everyone has the facial recognition. So you're going onto the plane like, beep, beep, beep. Everyone's doing it. But chances are not everyone's going to do it.
Yeah.
And so then you're still going to have 4 people, 10 people, 30 people in front of you who are taking out their passport and their digital, hopefully, or printed boarding pass.
Yeah,
What
so
if
it's
you
not
get
gonna
a
take
It's
that
going
much
to take you 3
time.
seconds, which is 10% off.
It's true. You know what? Has anyone ever had the experience where your phone won't recognize your face because you like didn't sleep well that night? So imagine that kind of a scenario times like however many people are doing this. If there's tech problems, if there's an issue, we all lived through that moment when one of the tech companies, their internet connection suddenly went kaput, and you're on a rush. You're trying to get somewhere.
The machine might be racist.
Well, I just think
I say it's true.
the machine might just shut down, and also not to mention hackers, right? Like
for me, it's cybersecurity. I'm right there with you. Listen, there is a war going on when it comes to cybersecurity, and we're talking about with tech, telecom, healthcare. How many times have you guys heard stories about some hospital that has to pay a ransom to some cyber attacker who's like, we're going to shut down your system until you pay us that money? And I'm thinking the things that make it most attractive to the hackers is something that's a place that has a lot of data. Think about it, airport, how many millions of people are going through on a regular basis. Also the perception that they have unlimited financial resources. People are gonna assume that they have a lot of money there. But the biggest issue is that the companies and organizations who have this type of technology, their biggest issue is they never update it. So it becomes vulnerable because the cyber attackers are always thinking about how they're gonna get into that system. And this is a problem with most companies. They're not staying on top of it, and that's where
So you don't trust that they're
I
gonna...
don't trust it, and I'm like, bring your passport. Don't try it.
You like the physical, and what about a boarding pass? Do you have a digital boarding pass?
I will have all of it printed out. I'm old school because we've seen systems go down and then you're stuck, and I need to get to my vacation, and I don't want you to tell me anything about all the systems down, so we can't recognize your face. It's like, no, I need to get to Mexico.
Have you ever worried if the one you're looking for doesn't live in your city? Like maybe he's in Montana? So someone wrote to Dear Prudence saying they're worried about their friend who's moving to Montana in search of a millionaire cowboy. So would you uproot your entire life to look for love in a new place?
Absolutely not. First of all, what is this woman thinking? First of all, it's not where you go, it's who you know. So, darling, please put your luggage down, because if there was a magical place where we could all find rich husbands, we would all be there. Like Montana, I'm sure women in Montana are like, what's she talking about? What men is she talking about? But honestly, I think what she needs to do is study a woman by the name of Yolanda Hadid. Do you guys know who that is? Yeah. Gigi and Bella's mom. She used to be a model. She was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills back in the day. She's on her 3rd millionaire husband. Now, okay, I'm gonna show you. The one in the blue glasses, that's Mohammed. That's the first millionaire husband. He's a developer in Los Angeles, and he's the father of her 2 model daughters.
And son.
And son, yes, sorry, I forgot about the son. And then there's David Foster, who everybody knows David Foster, very successful musician and composer. And now she's with this guy who's in construction. His name is Joseph Gigoli, and you should see the home, you should see the
Are you saying she's a gold digger?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you're looking for that, you need to not go to a particular place, but pay attention to the women who are constantly finding these rich men and study study what she's doing. Because she's been in Pennsylvania, she's been in Beverly Hills, I don't even know where she is. I think she's in Colorado.
So it says she has moved, maybe, to find a millionaire / multi-millionaire.
But it's not the place. It's her. There's something that she zones in on those rich men, and we need to talk, Yolanda. How interesting.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, I don't know why you would choose like millionaire. Like there are so many other qualities that I would look for.
Billionaire.
Billionaire. Honest to God. And why Montana? Like there's so many questions. Apparently this person wants to be more of a trad wife. Like that's what she says. She's gotten caught up in this whole movement. There's so many disturbing aspects to this. But this idea also, can we just for a moment, the one? Like at least let's consider that there are the many out there.
Oh.
And you know that expression that wherever you go, there you are. Like I think sometimes
that's a good
some
one.
people are looking for somebody and they're like, oh, I can't find this person here. I can't find this. Well, maybe I need to look at a certain like culture to find someone because I can't find anyone here. I wonder sometimes if people realize that part of the problem is them and the work that they haven't done on themselves. If you're constantly looking outwards to find something,
to find fulfillment and satisfaction.
yeah, there might be something there.
Yes.
She doesn't want to be it. She wants to marry it.
She wants to marry the things that she wants to be in herself.
This is all really deep, and I agree with all of you, except that I know somebody who did exactly this and it worked.
Okay, do tell.
So that doesn't mean what you're saying is not true.
Okay.
And so, listen, I couldn't do it because I'm too close to my family, and the idea of picking up and leaving everybody behind, my friend group and my family, it's not an option for me. But what if you already had adult children and you were already divorced once and you're like, you know what, I'm looking for something. And somebody, I'm not gonna name you, but you know who you are, she said, I know what I want, and I want a billionaire husband. And I'm like, okay,
that
cool.
specific?
Oh, pretty specific.
That feels like a small pool.
It's a small pool, but it turns out there's a lot of them in Montana because in Montana, you have 10,000 acre ranches. And so guess who can afford those? So I'm gonna fast forward the story, all to say we, as friends, even though we lost her here in Canada, we as friends get to benefit because we get to go visit her
God.
in Montana with her, by the way, amazing husband. So it's not just like, oh, he's just a billionaire, but he's a terrible human.
a good person.
He's like the nicest, most humble man. This is on her property. This is the property. And guess what? She is so happy. So yes, she's probably the exception. She's probably the exception to the rule, but she did it and she is in heaven.
And so there is something to be said about, like, she knew what she wanted and she got it.
Okay, well then let's put it to the test. Let's put it to the test. I want a billionaire husband.
Yes.
I would like a billionaire husband. Let's wait and see.
Oh, God.
Click your heels 3 times.
Oh, God. No. And then, I mean, listen, and we're going to leave this conversation, but then there are all those men who look for, like, the one in, like, a mail order bride situation. And we have men's problems with that. And yet the way we're talking is, like,
You're right.
a problem.
By the way, she's super successful on her own.
Okay, fine. Anyway, we're going to move on to a food debate. A woman posted on Reddit saying her future mother-in-law is mad. She brought a sweet potato casserole to a Thanksgiving dinner, but she didn't use the old family recipe that she sent her. So should you always be expected to follow the recipe to a T?
Yes.
If it's you guys.
Come on.
If it's an old family recipe,
Yes.
you don't mess with that. Holiday meals are not the time to mess with those sub-average dishes. They tend to be a little odd, but you make them year after year, generation after generation. You come to expect it. You don't mess with that.
It's like going, you know what? I totally agree with you. It's almost like going to the concert of that band that you grew up listening to and you love so much. When you go to the concert, I don't want to hear your new album. I want to hear the hits that I grew up listening
great
to.
analogy.
And I think that kind of mentality has led to situations where you have apple slices in the salad and raisins in the mashed potatoes
stuffing.
because someone was being creative.
Okay.
Stick to the ingredients.
Listen, my first thought was also that you don't mess with a family recipe, but then I heard about this recipe, okay? Let me start with this. It's a sweet potato, not pie, casserole, okay?
Yes.
It includes a huge amount of brown sugar and marshmallows, okay?
That's very popular in
Everyone's
the
fine with
States.
this. I'm not okay with this. But anyway, she got this recipe, this poor daughter-in-law, and her mother-in-law just sent it to her. She didn't ask for it. She was trying to offer some help. She got sent this thing. She didn't know, like, that she was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll make this. She tweaked the brown sugar a little bit for white sugar, and instead of doing the marshmallows, she put pecans as a topping.
Nope.
Okay, fine.
No.
You don't like it, that's fine. But if what
No one
happened
ate it.
was no one ate it.
ate it.
That's
learned her lesson.
diabolical. Somebody said, "Hey, I saw that she messed with the recipe. Nobody touch it."
Teach her a
that
lesson.
family is mean.
Yes.
that is a mean gesture.
I
to not
agree.
even try it because they might have been like, you know what, we didn't like it. Please next time around. But to not even touch it to try it, that is rotten.
I'm going to tell her.
Get out.
Listen,
I agree.
At this point, no, to me, I don't think this is about the casserole. I think that she needs to get a divorce and leave this family right away. I don't want to be extreme, but if it was such a special recipe, whether it was the mother-in-law who, it was maybe she didn't set her daughter-in-law up for success. This is a really, like, cherished recipe. I would really love it if you followed it to the T.
She can make it herself, too, by the way.
Or she can make it herself. Or who's really to blame is the husband. Because if this is your wife and she's coming into your family tradition, it's incumbent on him to say, don't change
Don't
it.
mess with it.
Mom's
Yes.
gonna get
Sweet
mad.
potato
We're not
casserole.
gonna eat it. So
Maybe
where's
he
the
has
husband?
Wait. Maybe when he left her alone in the kitchen, he naturally assumed, he's like, my mother, you know my mom, you know how she is, and she sent this to you. I don't think maybe he's thinking, I shouldn't have to tell you, don't mess with it. You know how she gets.
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, so he feels like he just has the right to solve it.
Now he's a millionaire. But I don't think the family was wrong for not touching
I
it.
think the family was horrible to her. The mother took her
How
side in the
horrible?
kitchen and
You rated her.
tore one off her, and then said, "Next year I'm not hosting Thanksgiving because of this tobacco." What should have been? I feel the whole family, if they didn't taste it, they should have tasted it and used humor. There would be an easy way to River being like,
depends.
"Oh,
And
this
then
is good."
you know what?
But not as good as her dead grandmother.
They ruin the holidays.
Listen, I agree. That would be nice, but certain cultures don't mess with that stuff, and they're not going to be like, oh, haha. They're going to be like, don't do that. This isn't nothing. Don't ever do that
I
again.
just think that, unfortunately, Mom ruined the holidays, and that, unfortunately, was the outcome.
It's officially soup season. So last night on Kaftans in the kitchen, I made Hungarian soup. Take a look.
Oh my gosh, that smells so good. We're gonna get those nice and soft. Oh, I'm not mad at this at all. Okay, we're gonna let that come down. Now we're gonna decide about the paprika.
One person says a teaspoon, one person says a tablespoon.
Then why don't we meet them in the middle
Okay.
and do,
Yeah.
instead of 3,
You-
we'll go 2.
You remember you can always add more, but you can't add less.
That was an excellent point. You know what's gonna be exciting? To see if I added too much on the show tomorrow.
Ladies, I hope you're hungry and you can let me know if I added too much paprika.
First of all, it smells incredible.
Does it?
Okay, so first of all, like, what inspired making a Hungarian
that's good.
soup?
Well,
and what ingredients are in this Hungarian soup?
So
good,
what
Jess.
makes this Hungarian is that my sister-in-law is Hungarian. So she first made this soup for me. Second, paprika. And third,
Is it paprika or paprika?
It's what?
We got told last night on the Kaftans in the kitchen
Paprika.
from
It's paprika.
Susan. She said paprika is how you say it in Hungarian.
Susan, girl. I
didn't know
We
that.
got
Yeah.
Hungarians here. Because I grew up calling it paprika.
It's paprika.
But I think it said paprika.
Well,
Because the
you can make-
emphasis is always on the first
We'll hear
syllable
from
in
somebody.
Hungarian. Let me
Paprika,
know.
paprika, it's good soup.
Oh, good. But there's also this Hungarian sausage called chabai sausage, which is in it.
Chabai sausage.
Chabai.
I'm looking for that
Thank God I
sausage.
eat meat now. It's really delicious.
Is it too spicy for you, Mel?
I know, because I'm not a spicy girl.
know.
So
So
far, I'm okay.
good.
Are you serious?
You know, come back to me in 30 seconds.
I tasted it last night and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be way too spicy for you.
good.
Perfect. It is
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so do you have any tips for a soup novice who's thinking about making soup?
Andrea, I'm
Especially this
so
time of year?
glad you asked this.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad. Number 1, don't follow a recipe. I'm serious. Soup you need to feel from your heart. You gotta be a soup whisperer. You gotta let the soup talk to you. Look at the fridge, see what's in there, see what you can use up. Number 2, build that base. Build that base. I'm talking either your butter and your oil and getting in your sofrito or your mirepoix. Get that go. Yes! Yes!
I don't know
Number
what you're
3,
talking about.
Don't be afraid of salt. Number 4, don't eat it piping hot.
Let it
Have
cool.
it warm, certainly, but not piping hot. You're not getting the flavors.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Next day is
Now-
the best. He
Next
says
day,
next day is the
yes,
best.
you're my spirit soup.
Yeah.
Yes. Build that. I can't wait to talk to you more to break down soups after the show. But quickly, we took a poll around the office about best soups, and it got to be a little controversial.
Oh, okay,
I
what'd
think
they say?
like lentil, tomato, and cream of broccoli topped the list. Cream of mushroom was really controversial. People either love it or hate it. So, like, what are your best soups? Go.
Well, listen, I'm Portuguese. I have to represent for the caldo verde. Hey.
Yay!
Oh, yeah, that and a good minestrone for me.
How about an Italian wedding soup? And I like a good, actually good quality Italian.
That's too spicy for me.
It's not.
It's too spicy for you guys?
Do you have a favorite soup?
Listen, I have one. I'm from the Caribbean, so it's corn soup with a little bit of dumpling and some potatoes in there. I make it. I got the stamp of approval from my family, so I'm like, I'd stick to that recipe.
Would you give me the recipe so I could try to make it?
Sorry, darling, can't do that.
Oh, please!
If you promise not to
I
change.
will not.
Okay, yeah,
I will
absolutely.
not touch a
It is
thing.
the best thing ever.
That's
This
the
would
future
be
Kaftans.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like that.
Soup is incredible.
Oh my gosh! Quickly in the audience, shout out yours because I respect you
Favorite
as a
soup?
human. Yes, you win. You win.
You're gonna go far.
I'm just curious before we go to break, Jess, because I was noticing you have gorgeous Kaftans. How many Kaftans do you own? Do you know?
It's a great question. I'm gonna say 15 to 20.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 to 20.
Good rotation.
And always ready for more if you should so like to gift me one.
DM at Jessie Ray Allen on Instagram. I have to say, phenomenal. Thank you for lunch.
So good.
It's delicious. Great job.
So good.
And as always, don't forget to watch Kaftans in the Kitchen on our Instagram page every other Thursday. You'll never know what kaftan Jess is wearing.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.